My name is Angelo Jones. I am a swing shift supervisor at ISP, and I've been here for 3.5 years.
Can you tell us a little about your career or personal background?
Before now, I've done a little bit of everything as far as career path. I didn't have a specific journey per se. I've done customer service, and from answering phone calls to working at the retail places. I've done non-emergency transportation, which is probably the closest to this type of job that I've done before, as far as dealing with patients and ambulatory wheelchair stretcher services and things like that. I've also done business-to-business sales, vacuum cleaner sales, captioning for TV. I've done a little bit of everything before now.
How did you learn about ISP? What made you apply for a job here?
Well, I saw the ad for the job on Indeed, and originally I passed by it. Originally I scrolled past it because it was something so new. But I was in a rough situation at the time, and I had made a promise to myself that I was going to apply for everything. I was going to try to stick to a box or a certain area of or a certain field of work. So I scrolled back up. I applied for it, not thinking that I ever really get it for real because, they're always going to pick the best of the best for this, and I had no chance at the time, or at least the way I was thinking, because I had no experience. And surprisingly, I went through the entire process, and I made it, and I'm here, and I'm still here.
Can you explain your role and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm a swing shift supervisor. What that means is I don't have a specific shift that I entail or I follow on the day-to-day. We have 4 different shifts, 2 day shifts, 2 night shifts. Instead, what I do is I work from between the shifts. I can either work both day shifts, I can work both night shifts. What that usually means is I'll work a consecutive week. Most of our shifts are staggered, where you have someone working Monday and Tuesday, then another shift working Wednesday and Thursday. I might be working Monday through Thursday specifically, regardless of the shift. But I still have the same roles as a supervisor. I still have the same knowledge and responsibilities. I still have the same resources. So mostly when I'm on the floor, I'm direct backup to the main supervisor. If they're busy or there's something else that needs to be handled, whether it's staff or field unit or somebody calling in, I can still do those things and help without the supervisor having to figure out how to delegate it or taking on too many tasks.
What have you learned from being in your position? Has there been anything surprising or any favorite parts?
What I've learned from this position, probably the most, is just how to deal with the situation and then be able to successfully separate yourself from the situation. From everything that we do on a daily basis, it can be more difficult at certain times, depending on calls or situations or dispatching, whatever we're doing, to separate from a troublesome situation or something that might hit home closer to my personal story than maybe another call would. Being able to be a part of it and still care and give genuine interest and sincere care for the situation, and then being able to still separate after the call or after the dispatch is over and move on without lag or something like that between. Probably what I learned the most, because that's not very easy. I feel like it's a requirement here. As far as surprising parts, it's every day. Every day is something surprising, whether it's a crazy call, because all the calls aren't, I don't want to say 911 worthy, but we get some crazy calls that you probably wouldn't expect to get at a 911 center. That someone might say, okay, I don't know what an officer can do to help you with that, or a paramedic. We get crazy calls like that, or we get more serious calls, and that's the most surprising part, is you never really know. When the phone rings and you answer the phone, you never know who's on the other side of the phone.
So can you explain what it's like to be in a leadership role, and what advice do you have for someone trying to achieve a leadership position here at ISP?
Big thing about being in leadership, I feel you have to remember that everyone's watching you. You're always being watched, you're always being monitored, and not necessarily in a bad way, it's just that you're leading by example. Everything you're doing is leading by example, even if you're not trying to, everything you do. So that's something that I keep in mind. I try with everything I do, whether it's my speech or the way I handle myself or conduct myself on the floor, my interactions over the phone, my my statistics when they come back, my QA reports, everything that has to do with the job here and outside of here, because it also matters, is I try to lead by example. I remember that I'm being watched. If someone wants a leadership position, what I've learned is most times when you move up to a leadership role, or when you move up in general, you kind of take on the role before you move up. And I'm not saying to do your manager's job or to do things that you don't have approval for. That's not what I'm saying. But you usually show the traits and the qualities and the characteristics beforehand. So I say, look at the job that you're looking to move into, and just look at the background of what you need, and just make sure you're showing that in your everyday actions where you are now. And then when it's time to move up, it'll be easier decision.
So what has kept you working here at IXP?
Besides the fact that it sounds so corny. I genuinely enjoy helping people. It's even from the small calls to the large calls. This type of work is helping people. From the moment you get here to the moment you leave, you're helping someone, and that's a huge part of it. Outside of that, the working relationships I have here are really well. Surprisingly, I've seen and I've heard so many stories of workplace interactions and how they're not always the best, or how they're not always appropriate, or just so many crazy things. I've experienced none of that here. I have a good time doing my job, and then the people around me are very supportive. So that combination has been great for me.
What are your future professional goals? Have they changed since being here at IXP? Do you feel like you'll have opportunities to attain them here?
When I first came here, I thought about opening a impound lot. I wanted an impound lot. I wanted a city or a county contract, so I have guaranteed work. I still think about that from time to time, especially being here and working directly with officers, and I'm calling a lot of the tow companies that tow vehicles for the officers. It kind of gives me a lot of insight on that type of on that work. It gives me more insight on that type of opportunity, on that type of job. However, my interest in doing it since being here has swayed a little bit. I really enjoy what I'm doing here and my position here, although I'm definitely looking to continue to move up. But that isn't a main venture for me anymore. It's still something I'm somewhat interested in. I think I may do it down the line, especially seeing and knowing what I know now. I know what specific things I can do that would help the officers as far as it goes with tow companies and impound lots. But my high level of interest that I have for it has changed.
Do you have any advice for someone looking to work at IXP?
Do it. I feel like there's nothing I can really say specifically. There's no way I can cover everything. It's an experience. And with life, the more experience you have, the more knowledge you have, the more wisdom you have. And I say just do it. Just give it a try. And it's not for everybody, of course, because it's not an easy job. It's not a super difficult job either. It's just something that it fits certain personality types a little bit better than others sometimes. Although we do have a wide range of people and background here. But I just say, just do it. Just give it a try. And maybe you'll be surprised just like I was.